Let me turn on the light.
Greetings, everyone. We are here at LRG Podcast covering everything live, reality game related, and like many of our shows that you watch on YouTube, on Facebook, we aspire to be like Survivor. And that is what gathers us here tonight. We are talking about the latest season of Survivor. It's not out yet, so we are doing our first cast draft of Survivor 46, which live reality games podcast will be covering each recap episode after the episode airs on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, with special guests and special live reality games. So make sure you tune in and check them out for some of your favorite live games and some of your favorite hosts tuning in. Here we have gathered a collective of people from hosts, from podcasters, participants, and even some fans here. So, quick little introduction. My name is Dustin. I host a few of these live games. I've played a few of them, and then I talk about them and watch them way too much. Also, joining us back again, some of you may be familiar with Snyder. Snyder, how are you doing?
All right. I am so stoked to be here tonight to represent my friends at the HVRL Maverick Cup Series Online Racing League and the only LRG I've played, Doubt Live, where I was one of the first people voted out. I am so stoked to be here, to be a part of this draft, and to watch a great season of Survivor. Also, I'd just like to say, live reality games, riding on board with number 22 in the HVRL Maverick Cup Series. Season starts March 19th. That's on Tuesday nights. That'll get you pumped up for Survivor Night. Tuesday nights are Maverick Night in America. Wednesday nights, it's Survivor Night in America.
Very cool. Also joining us with a big Survivor background, Sam, how's it going today?
I am doing great. I'm here representing the Survivor at IU community. Season 1 currently airing episodes. Along with that, some people know me as Gibble or Duck 7-Man in the online community. Made my way around the Discord, orgs, sort of scene, Survivor, Big Brother. I've done it all.
So what part do you play in the IU universe? Are you host, production, player?
For the first season, I was sort of one of the big executive producers. I am the host, the Jeff Probst of the whole show. I've taken sort of a step back. I'm mainly the host. I do a lot of the game design as well, but we've grown as a team to have people doing more of the general spots that I was taking care of in the first one.
Very nice. And then I think an overall fan of reality shows and live games in general. DB, you're here tonight. How are you?
I'm great. Obviously, we talked off air, but I have stumbled onto live reality games and haven't found myself out of the rabbit hole yet. And I just keep getting deeper and deeper. But a little bit about me before we get going. I am, a podcaster. I got my own podcast, or I host with some friends. It's our way to connect and talk sports. It's the In Off the Bench podcast. We drop episodes every Monday and Wednesday. We just interview college athletes. We set up NIL deals for them, and we just look to grow the game of college baseball and in college gymnastics. So happy to be here. Happy to found you guys that share my same passion for Survivor. So I'm looking forward to tonight.
That's what I'm here to do too.
In a draft, I'm either first out or I'm the winner. So good luck to all of you. DB, what shows are you watching right now in live reality games? What's caught your attention?
So I started with Survivor Angelica, and I'm caught up to where they're at in their current season. I've seen all the other seasons prior to. I'm doing Order in Chaos, Survivor Bloomington, watching that. That's really good. I appreciate that. That's a different style production. That's really, really, really cool. But also outside of that, Survivor Lake Fork and Outlast is what I've been watching here lately. So if you guys got any recommendations, let me know. I'll subscribe to those and put it in the queue.
Snyder, what do you want to recommend?
So the first LRGs ever watched were the college LRGs, Survivor Maryland especially. I watched season 2 in full before Survivor 41. But then I found this podcast through Survival Challenge. Kirk was hosting the live feeds, and he had me on the podcast for the Survivor 41 season finale. I am from Florida, but I am podcasting from Utah, just like that, and I'm excited to be here. DB, I hope you take my recommendation for Survival Challenge, the best LRG there is.
I wrote it down. It's on my
Closest thing to
list.
the real show.
Sam, what are you thinking? I know, big fan of IU, but
I love IU Survivor. We're still in our first season, so there's 3 episodes out right now, currently airing. But I love surviving Bloomington. It's like a 20-minute drive from here. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of the team that was on the last season. I got to go to some of the premiere parties. I just met with Matt from the current season like 30 minutes ago because he's on my production team. The one I would recommend that hasn't been named yet is Survivor Pennsylvania or Gettysburg. It's, I think, somewhere around episode 11 or episode 12 still airing right now. I really enjoy the game design and all the work that Daniel Dice puts into it. It really shows his love on camera.
honestly, DB, I can give you a whole
Pennsylvania
list.
is one of the best LRGs production-wise. I actually have communicated with Daniel personally, and he actually did a billboard for one of my online races. It was at Pocono, so he featured a couple contestants to promote the upcoming episodes for season 3 of Survivor Pennsylvania, and I ran a special paint scheme with the world's fastest war cannon, as I call it. It was on the side of the car, and that number 22 machine didn't get the best finish, but we got out on track.
I'm currently watching Survivor Calgary. Calgary, I think, is one of the best, edited. They have such a dynamic cast of characters. Just shout out a little bit there because they're doing recaps on our show, but they're doing an all-star season right now. And some of them actually kind of influenced my pick on this draft, actually. So Survivor Calgary, out in the woods for a few days. They have guns. There's lots of drinking. All good times.
Well, I hate to say I have not watched Survivor Calgary yet.
Well, Snyder, put it on your list. And speaking of good times,
Ugh.
we are here to have a little fun draft. So we have our fancy random.org, which will give us
You should not screen share this. It shows your IP address.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you hit randomize, it'll show your IP address on the screen.
Huh. So at least I didn't hit it. So really, I've done this so often.
No,
If I'm not
test it right now.
first, if I'm not
Anybody
first,
can go back and see it. Let's see here. Randomize. Where does it show my IP address? Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
might wanna hide that one.
Right here. All right, so I hit randomize and I hid the IP address. So boom, here's our list.
let's
It's
go.
rigged.
That.
Put it back. It's rigged.
Perfect.
I told you if I wasn't first, I didn't believe it.
There you go. So DB, Snyder, myself, and then Sam. So has that always done that, Sam?
Oh yeah. Since the website came out, you might
I've
want to
done
delete some VODs.
20 of these drafts. No one's ever said this before. So you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
All right.
What's the worst that happens?
Nothing so far, knock on wood. So the worst thing that could happen is that DB takes my first pick. So
Well, I already know going in. I told you guys this is going to be all gut, except for if I got the first pick, and the first pick I already had it planned out who I was going to get. So I don't know if you want me to go ahead and roll with that, or is there a lead in?
You take whatever. Now, I'm curious because you're going straight off gut. So I did a little bit of research. My research was there was a 20-minute video on CBS about each of the contestants. They got a minute or so. That's the only thing I'm going off from is that video. Snyder, how much work have you put into this?
I studied some of the contestants, and I have a few in mind.
Okay. Sam, what you got? How many? You take notes?
I've done an embarrassing amount of frame-by-frame gameplay of the trailers and listening to the Mike Bloom and Rob has a podcast interviews. So if I lose tonight, I have no one to blame but myself.
That is amazing. I always wanted to be like Stephanie. Stephanie from Ascendant always comes super prepped to these drafts, and she takes notes on everything. So great job. I wish I could be like you all. So I'm not like that. Notes, not my thing. DB, who do you got?
All right, so on our podcast and Off the Bench podcast, we have the opportunity to talk to college athletes. And this particular person, about a year and a half ago was one of our first of 9 seasons of guests that we had. And he ended up being a good friend, a good advocate of the podcast. He became, my co-host realtor, sold him his own house. So I'm going with Q. Q is my number one pick off the board. And that's just a personal connection. And if I didn't pick him, Q would be very upset at me.
What is Q's name?
Quintavious Burdett.
It's very solid.
Not on
pick, I'll
there.
give you that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Are we
7,
missing him?
We are missing Q.
17. Yeah, there's only 17 people.
I think you might be missing exactly Q, and that's it.
And the one person that was first on the list.
You're trying to keep him for yourself, Dustin.
Clearly.
Yeah. Did I take anybody's first pick?
Hey.
Just curious.
No,
It wasn't on my top 10.
Good.
So what is it? I did.
Yes, it's picked.
I listened to probably, I think, 14 of the interviews. What is it that Q does exactly? I'm
He's a real
blanking right now. Okay.
His claim to fame is he'll go around telling you he is the luckiest person on earth. Like he lucks into everything. But really, if you get to know him, he works his ass off. Like he deserves a lot of the things that he gets. So.
Okay, it's slowly coming back to me. I think I was mixing him up with someone else. I believe he was the second most successful realtor last year in the United States.
Yeah, he's one of 17 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
I was really when I saw that package. Now that I'm remembering, that was a really good one. I really enjoyed how he spoke in the interviews and how if you have to be a realtor, it's basically a salesman. I'd argue almost more dangerous than the salesman we've seen in the past, in that you're closing these multi-million-dollar deals.
Yeah, I think with him, he's gonna have to tone it down. Like he's a very big personality. So if he can, kind of tone it down a little bit, and he's gonna be fine, I think, physically. It's gonna be. I'm curious to see how he does with puzzles and the thinking. Not that he's not a smart guy, but my first initial reaction to him is he's gonna be strong. He's gonna be fast. He's gonna be able to run, jump, swim, and do all those things.
And
Absolutely.
he went into this real estate thing not knowing anything about real estate from at least the little 30-second clip that I saw. He just wanted to do a really good, fast-paced job, and that's what he went for.
Yep.
So he's able to learn and adapt super quick.
He researched jobs that you could make a lot of money very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what the first thing that popped up. So that's what he did.
Unbelievable.
Way to do it.
I believe I'm next.
Snyder, you're up next.
I'm going simply based on her last name and her official cast bio, Kenzie Petty. She shares the last name with the king, Richard Petty.
With
Richard
Kenzie?
Petty, by the way, is one of 3 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champions.
Look at that.
So figured I'd make the connection. So
According to this little
You
bio,
can do
she's
it.
got a different last name. So
you have
you never know.
so I think what we're looking at right now is the leaked draft or the leaked survivor board from a couple months ago. So I think a couple of the names are wrong, but in general the photos are accurate.
Perfect.
So that's why I chose Kenzie, because of her last name and the connection to the king.
You sniped me there. Kenzie was my first pick. I feel very confident in a hairdresser winning a season that starts out on the Purple Tribe, especially because they just got off season 44. That was the last one they watched before they came on the island. I think she has really strong gameplay, plus the points in this draft being based around getting episode quotes, getting screen time, and getting advantages. Kenzie could definitely be in a great position to go far in the game.
Yeah, that'd be great. Putting the Petty last name where it belongs, at the top.
You know, Kenzie was one of my first picks too. I think she was probably second, at least on my list, just because a hairdresser really has the connection ability. Like they can talk to somebody, win somebody over. So that's really what I was going for as well with my draft list. So
Yeah.
Snyder, solid pick, I think.
Dustin, who's your first pick?
Let's see here. So I'm going to hide my screen real quick because I have my notes listed on the same screen that I'm looking at right here. Bring this back on board here. So my first pick, okay, so technically Kenzie was my first pick as well. So my second pick here is Tevin. From Tevin's bio, he was so like excited to be on the show. He wanted to go for the experience and to, you know, live it up. He wants to really see what Tevin is like after the show. And I think anybody playing any kind of reality game, any kind of live game lives for that as well. So, Tevin, you have my first draft pick.
It's a great pick. That was, I think you've now gotten my 1 and 2 on my list.
Oh my goodness.
Very, very strong preseason bio, especially with the confessionals and the screen time he got in the promos. Just seems like he's going to be a strong personality. Whether he gets out early or whether he gets out right at the end there, he definitely is going to be leaving an impact on the season.
Good, because I didn't watch any of that, so I'm glad that he got some screen time. Yes.
All right. I think it is my turn. I get to go twice in a row, right?
That is correct. This is traditional snake draft.
I'm happy with that. My first pick, and I don't think this would be high on anyone's draft board, so maybe I'm blundering by picking it early, but I'm not going to get sniped again. I'm going to go with Ben Katzman.
Oh my God. He was one of my top picks because he's a musician, and I'm an avid musician. I'm an avid drummer. I enjoy classic rock, Beach Boys, Toto, Doobie Brothers, and I wanted to pick him.
Yeah. He has a great story of his like School of Rock-esque gameplay. He is a huge fan of Mike White, which can only be a green flag in modern Survivor. He has the connection ability. He's worked with younger children along with older people in his day-to-day life trying to teach guitar. And he has a path that just like a lot of people on this cast don't have. And I think he'll be able to connect well, especially in those early bonds. And I don't see a reason that anyone would have to vote him out, at least in the early game. Later, I'm more worried because he might get more socially connected and become a jury threat. But I'll worry about that when that happens.
I felt the same way too. I have been like easy, like final 3. Like he's got smooth sailing all the way till the end. I think he's very middle ground of yes, he can be a team player. Yes, he can win stuff. But at the same time, he's not that threatening overall, which could get him a nice cushy spot until the end. So I think that's a solid pick. It wasn't going to be in my draft per se, but a strong contender for endgame for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Dustin, you're next.
No, I think it's me. It's a snake draft.
Mm-hmm.
I go twice,
gosh.
and then Dustin will get his 2 picks at the end of this line.
So who is your next pick, Sam?
It's gonna be a hot minute before it comes back to me. Maybe last wasn't the greatest position. I'm gonna go a little bit out of left field. I'm gonna go with Sodasia. This was one of the people I didn't really hard research into Sodasia's background, but from the casting video that they posted before the season and her application, along with just it seems like she's gonna have a really positive presence on the season. It seems like she is out there just to make a lot of friends. I don't know necessarily what her idol game or her strategic is going to be like, but I have a gut instinct. If we're going off gut instinct, Sodasia is my pick.
I'm looking at my list right here, and I'm like, yeah, she was pretty high on my list. Great personality. She had a saying in her intro, "I'm good, I'm great, I'm golden." Like that is the positive attitude that I want on my team. So I'm jealous that you got her on your team. But I hope she does well for you. And
No,
her.
I think her personality is starting to remind me a little bit of Sifu from last season. Throughout the season, me and my Live roommate, Michael William, were talking, and he was rooting for Sifu. He just loves his positive attitude.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All I can do is hope that translates well to me.
Let's see. Dustin, next pick.
Snyder, you were on a roll here. Oh my goodness. I said keep on track, and you were like on the track here. So my next pick, looking at my list here, let me share the screen. And I moved my notes on this other screen so I can peek at them while y'all talk. Okay. Speaking of Survivor Calgary, which we talked about a little bit earlier, one of my all-time favorite players goes by this name, and I feel like it's a very similar personality type. And I feel like, Snyder was picking for namesake. I'll pick for a little namesake. I'm going with Moira.
Ooh, I think it's Mariah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
M-O-R-I-A.
I'll still go with Mariah, I guess. I just can't pronounce people's
close
names
enough.
to
It's
save
close
my
enough.
life, okay, to be honest. So, okay, Mariah wants to lay it all out in the game. So, and that's, admirable. She mentions the couldas, the wouldas, the shouldas. That's what we all talk about after games. Like, I could have done this. Should have done that. Like, she's leaving it all out on. That's most you can ask out of a player, is just to give it your all. So she's ready to give it her all. So I'm ready to get her on my team, giving it her all. So that's what I got.
Yeah. When I was waffling a little bit on my second pick, it was between Soda and Mariah for me, because I decided if I couldn't get Kenzie, maybe Mariah would be the best pick, but I just decided to go in a different direction.
How do you spell Moira then? Like, is that not
M-O-I-R-A?
They just switched the R and the I around.
really?
Oh, there's no H, but yeah.
Nope. All right.
You said can't spell.
So that means I'm next. And I'm picking, because he goes by his last name, Jelinski. And he's from Vegas.
A lucky pick for you?
I think because I go by my last name, I gotta go with the guy who goes by his last name.
He was the bottom of my draft list.
Yep.
I think Survivor fans really, it's a rough hole to get yourself out of. Like, you get so entrenched in the game. You want to do this, you want to do that because you saw this player do this and you saw them do that. It's really hard to get out of that. So I'm concerned for your pick.
Be yourself. Don't exactly imitate another player. So
have
not every attractive woman plays a game like Parvati. That's what I've been told. But nobody will play like Parvati. But they try and emulate Parvati and get them voted out.
I have exactly two men at the bottom two of my draft board, and I believe it was sort of interchangeable because I knew I was never going to pick them. But David is one of those two, coming in at, I believe, 21 or 22, somewhere around that range. It's just going to be a huge disadvantage, and especially on the starting tribe he's on with players like Q, Tiffany, Kenzie, Jessica, and Banu. That does not scream like a great start for him, being young and less experienced as his fellow tribe mates.
I always think it's interesting not looking at initial tribes, because Survivor may throw us a random thing. Maybe they're swapping every round or stuff like that. Like, you never know what kind of dynamic. Like, yes, they start on this team, but are they going to stick with it? And how long? Like, I always think it's very skeptical to go into a game thinking okay, this is going to be their tribes for 4 or 5 rounds. So I know it's standard, but they could always switch it up.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it's like Daytona. I mean, anything can happen. Anybody can win Daytona.
Very true. I guess for me, I'm up.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Jamelia Adams. They call her Jim. I just looked at IT brand mentor, someone who, when you think about IT, when you think about a mentor, those are hot ticket professions that do typically pretty well. I think she's probably going to be athletic enough to get her through. I think she's going to be smart enough to hold her own. It just comes down to a little bit of what you guys were talking about is how do they break up the tribes in the beginning? Is there stability, or is there a lot of frequent switching of the tribes? And can you find your footing, but also get a little bit lucky and be on the right tribe? So that's kind of what I see from her, being my second pick, and then moving right into my third pick. This is software engineer, another profession pick. I think brains are going to be there. I think intellect, the ability to outsmart, outwit, outplay people is definitely there. So I'm going to go with Jess Chung. So Jim Adams and Jess, the Jays, my 2 and my 3.
Yep.
Honestly, the
agree.
next 2 on my list, right there, GB. My next 2, boom, boom. You got them both. So
Sorry.
All right.
I do have I have very mixed feelings about Jessica Chong, just because in her, I really liked her preseason, her like the interview she gave and all that stuff. And then as soon as she gets on the Mike Bloom podcast, she goes, "Yeah, I've seen a couple seasons of Survivor. My husband told me to apply. I just wanted to go out there and make friends." And it didn't seem entirely like she knew what was going on. Hopefully, she's able to get some footing in the game, and I think if she gets past the first 2 or 3 episodes, then she'll be great and she'll get really far into the end game. It's just getting through that initial rush.
With. She's either going to be a bust or she could be a force to be reckoned with. And that brings us to my next pick, because we just saw a force to be reckoned with a couple Sundays ago in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City team, led by Patrick Mahomes, followed by the Swifties. And one of those is Charlie Davis. He's a Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie, but in light of the Super Bowl, I am picking Charlie because, man, that Super Bowl was something.
Dustin, I want to ask, was this the other guy at the bottom of your list?
No, Charlie was like a mid bottom tier for me. I'm gonna pull up my list.
I wrote on my notes, and this is the only note I wrote for him, going to get pre-merge. I don't see any universe where Charlie makes it past the like first 4 or 5 episodes, especially as a law student, and it doesn't seem like he has had to fight for much. He seems like, to all his credit, very intelligent guy, very well thought out answers, seems to have a lot of personality, great strategic mind. That being said, I don't know how he's going to do in the social game. It just, again, with the same issues that came up with Jelinski, just being young, being still in school, I just don't see it.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Are we not tired of lawyers and law students on this show? I mean, is that the only?
I'm not.
I am personally. It's like there's so many things out there, but for some reason, every season,
Who
there's
all comes to
a
mind?
lawyer.
Who do we have? Who we had in the new era?
I mean,
I mean,
last-
we have 2
Jake
last
Katura.
season. We have 2 here already. So
there was 3 last season.
Who were they?
Jake and
Julie,
Katura. And Julie.
Katura and homeboy that cried all the time. Jake, yeah.
Oh, what about Emily? Where's she?
No, she's a financial analyst. Emily Flippin.
Oh.
The only
I
one
don't
that
remember
comes to
his-
mind would be Voce from 41. I'm not sure anything from 42 off the
No,
top of my head.
Voce was not a law student. Sydney was. Voce was the neurosurgeon, I believe.
Oh, you might be right. He is, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that very well. I watched the podcast that season. I was on for the finale.
see,
and-
that is why y'all are the Survivor experts, and I am not. But like, I know Nick was the winner from his season. No spoilers. Sorry for people that are just tuning in now, of course. But he was a lawyer too. And then in the little interviews that I watched too, I think Venus is actually doing something to be a lawyer as well, if I caught that correctly. Like I
whose
said,
pick
I
is
only
it?
watched about 30 seconds, so she wanted to do something in law.
I remember there being more than 1 or 2 law students or law adjacent people on this season. I couldn't pick out from the crowd which ones they are, but I don't see it playing too much into the player strategies.
But can we just get people to stop lying about their like jobs? Like that's the one thing that I can't stand too.
Did
Like
Tony
I
do
don't
that in
know.
his first season? Did Tony do that in Kagigan?
He did for the first half of the game, yeah.
Yeah, because he had the Cops R Us alliance with Lucina. Yes, we call her by her last name now because she said it's Lucina.
Yeah, but I think if I remember correctly, people were suspecting him of being a cop, even though he wasn't.
Yeah.
Tell him
So
the truth.
It might have just been Sarah. I'd have to. I don't remember any confessionals.
Oh, it's
of people.
Lucina.
Credit where credit's due. I think, Dustin, it is your pick, and you get to steal the last player I want.
Oh my goodness, how exciting! So I doubt this is going to be your person. But I am going to go. So I work a 9-to-5 job. I own an escape room. I do all this podcasting and stuff like that. So I understand how difficult it is to run 3 businesses per se. So I'm going to go with somebody else that does 3 businesses too. And I'm going to go with Liz. Liz, like, made 3 businesses all about her. And so I appreciate the hard work and dedication that she's doing. She wants to be unique. She wants to be herself. And I doubt she's going to go very far, to be honest. But I wanted to pull her in before she ends up on the bottom. So, Liz,
I hope she's not first boot. I mean, this is such a great cast. We've had great cast. We've had the cast of all time in the new era, in my opinion.
We had
44 is probably
2 people quit last cast. Snyder, come on now.
Yeah.
Best cast ever.
Not including them, but 44.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Hannah was like one of my picks to win the whole thing, too. Like,
yeah. The real challenge was going 12 hours without taking a vape.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I get 2 in a row now.
Yep, you do.
It's tough because I'm torn between picking people who I think are going to go far versus picking people who I think are going to win versus picking idols. I think based on what I know, my first pick, at least for right now, I'm going to go with Tim Spicer, college counselor, college coach, whatever you want to call it.
Up your night.
And I thought our friend over here, DB, was going to take it from me when you started talking about college because I know he's involved in that. Lucky he's fallen this far. Just out of curiosity, was Ben on anyone's draft board or was that just me?
That was just you.
100%.
Right, I'll take that. And then I'll look the fool when he gets first boot, or I'll be the smartest one around when he gets to the end.
Now, before you make your next pick here, I want to show people at home kind of what we're going off from for a little scoreboard here. I'm bringing it up. It's kind of a unique thing that I just kind of made up. I didn't really know what I was doing, folks. So, but I want to show you just so we can keep it all even for our next podcasters that come in to fill in. So, hopefully this doesn't show my IP address like the other thing that Sam warned me about. So, if their team is safe, they get 1 point. If they survive tribal council, they get 2 points. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, so it's a little bit. Oh no, actually, I have to keep it. There we go.
I can see this fine.
Perfect. And I'm just talking about it, and people watch and listen on the podcast, so
Found an idol,
they can't
played
see
an
anyway.
idol.
So, found an idol, played an idol, gets the points. They get idled out 4 points. I reduced that for sure, but 4 is my favorite number. So I think idling out is pretty cool. Like it takes all that effort to get you out.
My second cousin's volleyball number when she played at UF, and when I first started online racing, I was a 0-4.
And then also MVPs. So folks that are joining us that are representing some live reality games along with the recap episodes, we want you to choose the MVP of the episode, and we're going to award you all with 2 points to award our draftees. So it's kind of up to you two that come on to kind of influence the game as it goes. So back to the draft.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oof.
I believe Sam is next. He has another pick.
Let me pull up my list one last time. Okay.
I know, I'm looking to see who I've left. I'm like, we're getting down there, aren't we, folks?
Of my people, I think I picked 2 winner picks. I picked one person who I think is gonna rank up a lot of points, being Ben. I think I can go with another person who I think is gonna rank up points. I'm gonna go, and let me just make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Venus. Venus Vafa, I believe. Again, very smart, strategic mind. I'm trying to come up with new words, new adjectives to describe these players. But I don't see them necessarily as the season winner, but I do see them making it deep into the run. I'm not trying to draft the winner necessarily. I'm just trying to get someone to get me some points. Even if I draft all losers, guess what? I'm just trying to get to the top of that leaderboard.
And that's what counts.
Yeah.
She was one of the other lawyers that we were talking about before that I don't know. She gets mid-draft for me, folks.
Yeah.
So who's your next pick, Dustin?
I think she's got an ability to win it all. I think she can be shield enough and strong enough at the same time to have good balance, and I think she might be someone that someone wants to bring along for a long time, and then someone that can make moves. I had her high on my board, so disappointed that she's gone, but hey, it is what it is.
All right.
I
Dustin.
think I was looking at it from like I guess more of a physicality. She seems to be one of the I don't know, like muscle strength or anything, but she looks like she's packing less muscle than the other ladies, so that might be a hindrance when they're looking at maybe like a team effort kind of thing. But at the same time, maybe it's more about balance. And I think in her intro, she was a model, so she can probably walk runway pretty well and get a good sense of balance. So pros and cons with each of that.
I like the
Nobody's
thinking.
going to want to date her. She doesn't have a boyfriend.
There you go. You said it was my turn?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
I'm terrible at keeping track of this draft. So, but somebody that's not is this lightning person that is wishing Sam good luck on the draft here. So,
Hey,
Thank you,
Lightning,
thank you.
I got something to say to you. Ka-chow.
all right. Let's see here. My next draft pick, which I went back and forth with this draft pick, to be honest. I'm normally not a fan of villains on the show very often, but this person, I don't know, we're kind of getting down there to the nitty gritty. So I went with a villain. This person's already told her kids and family that she's going to lie, cheat, and steal, and that is Maria. Like I said, not a fan of villains and not a fan of people that come out wanting to lie, cheat, and steal. Not that she necessarily wants to, but she's already okay with it. I kind of like to see the people struggle. I guess that's evil of me, to watch them struggle making those hard decisions. But yeah, Maria, best of luck to you in a villainous way.
But Dustin, don't you think, like, regardless of what people say, you're really coming on this show to lie, cheat, and steal? It's $1 million.
What about Beg,
I mean,
Barter, Steal? I think that was the name of an episode way back when. I forget what season it was, but there was an episode called Beg, Barter, Steal.
Right. It's Survivor and all, but still, it's I kind of like people going in with the hopes they're going to play a great game, and then at the end they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have to vote my mother out. Oh no, I guess I really have to do it." Like, I want to see them struggle, not being like,
I would
who's
tell
that guy
my
like
mom,
Johnny
"Peace
or whatever. Johnny's like, I would vote my grandma off in an instant. So
No,
Yep.
I don't want to see people struggle. I mean, you just want to have some characters that
I
really
want them to
stand out.
gain their life lesson to overcome it and be okay with it. So
Yeah.
not
Bring back the
being off
39-day
that.
format.
Mhm.
Or even between 26 and 39, do like 35 days or 31 days.
Ooh,
But
Snyder.
that brings us to me.
Yep.
You got
And
it.
my pick, because he builds Survivor challenges, is Hunter.
Oh,
I saw in his bio, and I was like, you know what? He's a backup pick for me. Because Ben is taken, Venus is taken. My four were Kenzie, Ben, Charlie, and David, or Jelinski. Those were my four. Those were my top four.
Glad I
Just throwing it
sniped
out
Ben
there.
then. No, I'll say Hunter was my very first ever pick. I saw the original cast. I went through the short bios back when 45 was airing. I was like, okay, this guy seems to have it. He hosts, I think, High School Survivor or some version of LRG. Maybe he's watching. Who knows? After watching some of the other interviews, I think he's an absolutely great personality. It just didn't seem to fit into the draft that I had in mind for this.
All right, DB.
Quick on Hunter. Like, he wants to lie about his job already. Like, no.
Boy, what's he gonna
I know.
say?
Back to that.
Dustin, you are not a fan of people lying about their job, man.
I told you I don't like those villains people.
That grinds your gears.
Is Hunter gonna be a villain then?
If you're gonna lie right off the bat, be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I deliver papers for a living," instead of being like a scientist or whatever he is. So
he's a science teacher, I believe.
We were just on a recap episode.
He has to deal with them badass kids. Yeah, he's gonna go out there and be what he can't be every day at work. He's gonna be a villain. That dude.
Boom.
I don't know. I kind of want him.
Well,
now that you've talked me into it.
There you go.
So.
DB.
All right. My top 4. The top 3 that I had on my list, I got. Number 4, I had Venus, so she's taken. But really close to Venus, I had, I guess it's Randon Montalvo.
Brandon.
Yes. Yeah, so Randon Montalvo. So I don't know much about him other than he looks like he can. Just this picture alone makes me feel like he's very persuasive and very sneaky, and I kind of like that. Unlike Dustin, I kind of like the villainous, sneaky side of people. It creates chaos. By no means do I think Randon is going to win, but I do think he can create enough disorder by having certain advantages and certain things. I think he'll be the guy that people will target and maybe not have the chance early to get out, but eventually, like his time will be numbered, and he'll get the exit. But
do you think he'll make the jury?
Oh man, I hope not, because I don't think he would be very liked. I don't know. I think he would create chaos in the jury.
Well, that could make it more exciting.
Yeah. But
all right.
I don't think he'll make the jury. No.
This is where we stand. 4 contestants have been picked by each of our 4 people on here. There are 2 contestants left. What do we do?
We each get to pick one final person for our team.
All right.
Hopefully everybody gets chosen. I think DB goes next, right? If this is snake draft rules.
DB, you're next.
Yeah. So just my final note on Randon is that I have long told my father that if he went on Survivor, he'd get voted out first. And if you have your own family rooting against you, because my whole story in Randon's whole story in the interview was that his family's holding the last place party while he's on the island. They know something we don't. I'm going to choose to believe them and hope that he gets proven wrong.
I already know who my last pick is.
Well,
all right.
You're first.
For me, I think I'm going to go with Tiffany. I think she's going to bring some heat. I think she's going to spice things up. And I think people are going to...
I think there's a chance she could be a villain.
I think people are going to inevitably like her. I think she's going to be like a Carolyn who's going to tell you exactly what she feels and not filter it, and probably should filter it, but people are going to appreciate that. So
she is so uncomfortable. Even in the 30 seconds, she has like a bug on her and she's like freaking out. I don't know if she's going to, I want to see people get past that, but right off the bat, the first 30 seconds in, she's not getting past it. So
I'd
I'm
love
worried.
to be able to sleep in the wilderness one day. Maybe I'll find a girlfriend.
Who's next now?
It
Me.
is Snyder.
And
Are you
I'm
going with
picking because he's
Tiffany?
originally from India, Banu.
Okay.
So I've cruised with Carnival Cruise Lines for a long time, and a lot of the people that are on the wait staff are from India. And I have become friends on Facebook with some of our waiters since I've gone on cruises in the last few cruises I've been on. And so I'm picking Banu because he's from India, and I know the waiters on Carnival can respect their home country. Banu.
Good, because I want Tiffany on my list. So, that's perfect. I'm so
Am
glad.
I forced into Banu now?
All right.
No, you can triple up with us. So,
Okay.
I
that
love
leaves
what you
Snyder
did there,
to be by
Dustin.
himself.
Hold on,
I-
BB. What'd you say?
I love what Dustin did there. He tells me how bad of a pick Tiffany is, and then he goes with me.
I didn't want Snyder to pick it, and I feel bad if Banu didn't get chosen. So I would have chosen Banu if he didn't get chosen. But
I want to clarify. I can only choose Tiffany and Banu, right?
that is correct.
Okay, you're very lucky because I almost picked Kenzie. That being said, I'm hopping on the Tiffany train. I think there's a lot of great personalities. I think that she, well, not close to the top of my list. I think she just has more potential than Banu does in this game. Banu said specifically that the one thing that made me not want to draft him is he said, I really like the On Fire podcast. And if he listened to the one in, I think, 44, he shouldn't have said that. Or no, you know what? The 44 podcast was good. It was the 45 one that was bad. Either way, I'm going with Tiffany. Hope that she does well. Get me them points.
All right.
Man, if Tiffany pulls this off, Snyder, I'm so sorry. You've totally lost this. So.
Oh man, I don't want to finish last place. I've done it so many times in the Maverick Cup Series.
Someone's always got to be voted out. It's okay. You play this game. There's 15 losers, only one winner.
No,
And I
there's
can't do math,
17
that's-
losers.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
But then 2
15
people
are
come back for
finalists.
All Stars. It's okay. So they're not really
Yeah.
losers. They just get to
Good.
go again. So
Now hold on. Do I get, like, in 5 years from now, do I get bonus points if my player goes on to All Stars?
I don't know.
No,
we can
'cause
relook
if
at
I-
this
if I
draft
win
down the
by-
line.
If I win by 4 points and you claim victory with that 5 years later, no. Come on.
You're cooked when my player goes on a Second Chances 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
2089. Jeez.
I'm
Or how
excited to
about
see the next
0
second
points?
chances.
My gosh.
Mhm.
I cannot come any
Well,
sooner.
speaking of second chances, we haven't done a podcast for a few seasons. So who all do you see from the last few seasons being potential returnees? Well, besides Bruce, of course. His more of a do-over.
I could definitely
I have
see.
no idea. I know nothing about Survivor, y'all. So I just pretend.
I think Jake, unfortunately, would get a second chance. I think
Emily,
I think
maybe.
Emily was like one of my
Emily.
favorite people. See, it's the
Are there any pre-jurors from
Progress people
45
learn.
that you think? I think Sifu should get a second chance, honestly.
I
DB,
think,
you're gonna hate this. I'm actually Jeff Probst is my uncle, and he's told me recently that the next season is gonna be lawyers versus doctors.
oh God.
So you're gonna have a real field day with that one.
as long as it's not teachers, that what annoys me the most. Like, even in live games, all those teachers cannot be trustworthy. I tell you, they all like band together.
My roommate Michael William was a teacher. I believe he has a new position now in a school. But he was a teacher at the time, and he was the first member of the jury. My two roommates, Michael William and Noah. So glad I have him as roommates. I was hoping we get to the end of Down Live together.
All right, so let's do random bonus time. So let's try to think of some obscure thing that might happen, and we'll award points for it. So I am going to call we're going to have a rock draw. If that rock draw happens, I get 4 bonus points.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
How's that?
That's a great idea.
Thanks.
I have one for myself. Coming from a bachelor, I love when it happens. I hope it happens to me on an LRG. A showmance.
Oh,
Do you have any guesses on who you think would get into showmance?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
if you can
I'll have to
name
go
the people
through
that
them.
does the showmance, I say 4 points for that. Like if you can
Yeah.
tell the people that are doing the showmance, because I was going to award 1 point, because that's
I'll give
very,
1 point for general, 4 if you can name it.
Mhm.
Or how about 2 for general, 4 if you can name it?
I don't know, man.
I vote for 1. DB, you're the
I'm
tiebreaker.
going
1 or 2
through it.
points.
let's go 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Snyder, who we got to name?
I'm going through the list right now. This is hard.
I got
I'm
the
gonna have
pictures
to
up
go
for
with
you. So
Venus. Well, because they're the same age, I'm gonna pick. Well, honestly, you know what? I'm gonna pick Venus and Jelinski.
all
I
right,
mean, they're not the same age, but they're close enough. It could be a good match.
sure. Okay.
It's
Snyder's
just
playing
an out there
matchmaking here.
prediction, so
Yeah.
we'll just throw it in the hat.
Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of going down the list here now because we've been. Sam, what you think? What's your crazy prediction?
I have a couple because this is a good situation. I don't know
Uh-huh.
how specific I want to make this. My gut instinct. Okay, hold on. Let me just check the age real quick. Okay, that works. Can I say a man under 30 gets the first boot? And there's only 3 people that applies to. That's David, Charlie, and Hunter. That's my
Heaven's
prediction.
24.
Steven, Charlie.
Yeah, he's under 30.
Where's Jelinski? Jelinski's
think so?
22.
I think so. Yeah, 22 is under 30. Numbers below.
Okay, so Jelinski, Charlie,
And
Kevin,
David.
and Hunter.
Or is
I'm
Kevin under?
fine awarding, since there's 3 options, I'll say 3 points.
I think
I'll go
there's
with
4 options.
I forgot Kevin.
Oh.
I'll take
Kevin,
2
Hunter,
points. I don't want
Jelinski, and
to.
Charlie.
All right, 2 points it is.
Oh, Quintavious or Q. Q is 27.
All right, just give me the 3 guys I said. I'll say if Hunter, David, or Charlie gets first boot because there's one of them on each tribe. I'll get the 2 points.
All right.
Are they the
Maybe.
youngest on each tribe?
Crazy
What?
prediction. What you got?
Yeah.
I think that my crazy prediction is that. Oh man, I'm torn between 2. So one would be like an all single gender alliance that goes all the way to the end.
I haven't seen that for a
But-
while.
The end, are we talking about 4, 5, 6?
3.
I'll say 4, and
Okay.
obviously, that'll take you to 3 as well. So,
Mhm.
Well,
but
here's
then-
what I mean. We haven't had all 3 of the same gender in the final 3 since season 29. It was Missy, Jacqueline, and Natalie.
So DB
But
thinks it's going to happen.
there's always these little hints and these little nuggets where people are like, we should do an all guys and all girls or all whoever alliance. And
We saw it with the All Black Alliance in 41.
right. But even last year, Dee and Julie hinted at there being an all girls alliance, but it never really came to fruition. And I think that's
No, I mean,
A
Jay
lot of-
Maya was doing it out right before the jury.
well, but I also think it's a lot of, editing and production that helps people believe that. But my second option was there would be a fire making challenge prior to determining who is the final 3. So I don't think
What would have to happen there is that everyone would have to be immune except for 2 players,
No.
and those 2 players would be tied.
no,
Not
they could just go back to
necessarily.
doing it the way that they did it in the very beginning, where they got to choose.
Um,
Or I don't know. I'm just trying to think
I
of
believe the
obscure
Final
things that
Four
would
force
never
fire
happen.
is returning. The only other time I
Oh
think there'd
well,
be a fire making
I
challenge.
can give you 0 points for that one. I'll give you 100 points if it doesn't return.
So here's what I think. The only other time there'd be a fire making challenge besides the simplified Final Four Tribal Council is if. So say a similar scenario to the Suri vote in 34 happens, where Suri goes home, but what happens is 2 people are left without immunity, and those 2 people are tied.
Not necessarily. We don't know what happens when it 2-2 ties in a tribe of 4.
No,
never
it's
happened.
not at 4. Say it happened at 6.
No, I'm saying that you're saying that's the only scenario. If it's a 2-2 tribe on a tribe of 4, we don't know what happens. It could go to fire making.
Yeah, I'm saying that when you get down to the very end and it's a fire making challenge to be the third person, I'm saying there's a possibility they don't do that. They do something different, but fire making challenge happens as some type of challenge in the game at some point prior to that.
I'll give
I don't know
you
if you know
5
this.
points if that happens, because that's bold.
In the French version of Survivor, Koh-Lanta, normally they'll have 2 challenges starting at the final 4 or 5 to determine the final 2. So at the final 4 or 5, they do an orienteering race where the players have to use just a map and compass to find an object. And the first 3 to find their object, usually a dagger, are qualified for the final 3. The other 1, or if there's 5, 2 players will be eliminated without a vote. We'll then directly go to the final 3. So the final immunity challenge, which is since the second season been the Perch Challenge. The winner gets final immunity, and immediately, similar to season 10, because the challenge went so long, they choose their tribal council opponent immediately. So the jury does not know who the final 2 or 3 members are until final tribal council.
Well, you're overcomplicating it.
No, this is real. This is in the French version of Survivor.
So I'm gonna give if Sam, if you're saying I'm gonna get 5 points, I'm gonna take that.
You get
Yeah,
5
so,
points. I like
the
it.
way-
If there's
the way I'm
fire
writing in
making
my
before the
notes-
fire thing. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fire. There'll
Yep.
be a fire making challenge for the
Before the
end.
final 4.
Yep.
And
before
like
the-
legit fire, not like a puzzle that's shaped like a fire.
no.
Yeah.
It'll be like tribe
actual
versus
fire making
tribe
challenge.
or individual
You know,
versus
like
individual.
Survivor Gabon, Survivor Africa type deal.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do this all the time in LRGs, to be honest. So
I mean, like a
sorry,
2-2
insurance
tie
people
final
out
4.
there. We do. All right. Well, we're wrapping up for the night here, folks.
All right.
So we have made some great random predictions. Best of luck to everybody in the draft.
Good luck.
As a reminder, here is the overlay. We have
Oh, we'll just take for the winner.
exactly. So best of luck, everyone. Thanks for watching tonight, and make sure you tune in to more LRG podcasts as we do recaps every Wednesday here at 9:30 Eastern
Can
Standard
I sign
Time.
us off?
And then sometimes we'll do a Central Standard Time. So make sure you check in and watch for your favorite LRGs and your favorite hosts and your production
Oh,
people.
I'm in Central Time. No, Central and Eastern watch together. Central and Eastern
right.
watch together. You're thinking West Coast, like Pacific.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like Pacific Standard Time. I'm terrible with time. Trying to
Yeah.
coordinate with everybody. It's
Remember,
rough, folks.
It'll be Maverick Night before you know it. And thanks for having me on board. I can't wait for this season.
Thanks, Sam. Make sure you tune in to Survivor at IU. And DB, what was your podcast again?
In Off the Bench podcast. Average Joe's talking X's and O's.
Perfect. All right.
Ooh.
Till next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.